you're standing dead still, not making a sound. You haven't moved in 30 seconds, but that small bird 3 feet away, it's staring you down like you're about to attack. Its eye doesn't even blink. Its chest is heaving faster than you can keep track of. Then it lifts 1 foot slightly off the branch, just a tiny, silent exit strategy. It's already calculated. You didn't do anything wrong. But honestly, that's the problem. To that bird, you're the predator. You always were. And the wall between you and real trust with a bird it isn't about love, or patience, or treats. It's something way more primal than that. See, here's what most people never really think about. Every single bird alive today, whether it's your pet parrot, a sparrow on the windowsill, or a cockatiel in a cage, they're all descendants of creatures that spent 50 million years being hunted. Not loved, hunted. By cats, snakes, hawks, things way bigger than you. And the birds that actually survived, they were the paranoid ones, the ones who flinched first, the ones who flew away before they even knew why. Their entire nervous system was hardwired to treat anything big and moving like a threat until proven otherwise. And here's the kicker. That wiring didn't just vanish when we brought them into our homes. It didn't go away when we gave them names, or toys, or hand-raised them from eggs. That instinct is still there, running in the background, scanning you every single second. It's asking one silent question, over and over, are you going to eat me? And the wild part, the part nobody tells you when you bring a bird home, is that you're triggering that alarm all the time without even meaning to. The way you walk into a room, how fast you reach for them, the angle of your approach, even the size of your pupils when you're stressed, or just the shape of your shadow on the wall. To a bird, these aren't just details. These are survival signals, ancient ones. But once you start to understand what those signals actually mean, once you learn to speak this invisible language, the change in how a bird responds to you will stop you cold, because they stop just tolerating you. They start to choose you. You know, there are these people, just ordinary folks, no fancy training, who walk into a room full of rescue birds. We're talking birds with broken trust, birds that bite, birds that scream if you even get close, but then, just weeks later, you're stepping onto those people's hands willingly. It's not magic, and it's definitely not some secret gift they were born with. It's just that they finally learned to control the one thing most people never even think about, the way they actually feel like, inside their own body when they're standing near a bird. Stay with me here, because what we're about to get into is going to completely change how you see every bird you ever encounter. If you've ever felt like a bird just doesn't like you, like you've done everything right, you're being super gentle, and still, you just can't seem to break through, you really need to watch this all the way to the end. The answer? It's not what you think. Hit subscribe if you want to make sure you don't miss what's coming up. Let's talk about your body. Not your personality, not how kind you are, but your actual physical presence. See, a bird's vision is just wild. They see in 4 colored channels while we're stuck with 3, and they process movement at nearly double the speed our eyes do. So, that slow, gentle reach you're making, to them, it looks like a sudden, terrifying lunge. But here's the part that, honestly, is kind of disturbing. Birds are hardwired to fear one specific silhouette above everything else, a big object moving from above, blocking out the light. Sound familiar? That's you. You're leaning over the cage, reaching down, standing at your full height while they're sitting small below you. And your eyes? You have 2 forward-facing eyes. You know what else has that? Every single predator that's ever hunted a bird. Think about prey animals, rabbits, deer, birds themselves. They have eyes on the sides of their heads. They've got that wide-angle, constant scanning view. But in the animal world, 2 eyes on the front of your face? That means one thing, you're a hunter. Now, you can't exactly change your anatomy, but you can change how you use it. The people who really know what they're doing, they approach from the side, not head-on. They crouch down so they aren't towering over them. They look slightly past the bird instead of staring it down, because that direct, unbroken eye contact, that's a predator's targeting stare. These aren't just tricks, they're translations. You're finally learning how to tell them with your own body, I am not here to hunt you. Now, let's talk about the stuff you actually can't hear. See, birds hear on a frequency that goes way beyond what we can pick up. They're tuned into these tiny micro vibrations in the air, like the sound of a voice that's a little too tense, or the slight tremble in a hand, or even a heartbeat that's racing because you're frustrated. They're literally feeling your emotional state before you even open your mouth. In the wild, that ability is basically their survival guide. If the environment is calm, it means no predators. But if the air feels off, those sudden shifts in sound, those tiny high-frequency signals, it means run. Get out now, before you even see the threat. And think about it when you're stressed, your voice pitch actually creeps up. Your movements, they get a little twitchy, less smooth, your breathing gets shallow, and your muscles, they're tight. You might tell yourself you're totally fine, but the bird, it knows better. This is exactly why so many people struggle to build trust when life gets busy or chaotic. Maybe you're dealing with a high-pressure job, a rough patch in a relationship, or just frantic mornings. You find yourself wondering why the bird seems to be getting worse. But here's the reality. The bird isn't worse. It's just accurately reading an environment that's become less safe. There was actually a study at the University of Vienna that looked at this. They watched how parrots reacted to handlers with high cortisol levels. You know, the stress hormone versus calm handlers who were doing the exact same motions. The birds with the stressed out handlers, they were on high alert, feathers sleeked, letting out alarm calls. Same movements, but a completely different experience for the bird. Honestly, it's a wake-up call. Your inner world is the first thing you need to train, not the bird. So what does calm actually look like in a language a bird understands? It's really about slowness, but without hesitation. There's a huge difference between moving slowly because you're nervous, which just looks like jerky, stop-start energy, and moving slowly because you're actually at ease. That creates a fluid, predictable flow. It's non-threatening. Birds trust what's predictable. In the wild, predators are the ones who are unpredictable. They hide, they wait, then they explode into motion. Prey animals memorize the rhythm of their home. Anything that breaks that rhythm, that's an alarm. When you build a routine the same time, the same sounds, the same gentle approach, you're doing way more than just forming a habit. You're becoming part of the bird's safe world. That little whistle you do when you walk in, the specific quiet tone of your voice, the way you always show your hands before you reach out, those are just training techniques. They're your way of broadcasting a signal on a frequency the bird has been tuned to for 50 million years. You're saying, nothing dangerous moves like this. Nothing dangerous sounds like this. You're safe here. Here is something almost nobody talks about. Birds don't just gradually start to trust you, they actually decide to. There's this specific moment researchers call it the approach threshold crossing, where a bird makes an active, voluntary choice to close the distance between you and them. When a wild bird hops closer to you unprompted, or your parrot takes that one step toward your hand without being asked, or a shy cockatiel just leans its head in your direction, that isn't a coincidence. That is a decision. It's a decision based on everything you've been quietly broadcasting for days or weeks or months. And the crazy thing is, once a bird makes that choice, it fundamentally changes how it categorizes you. You aren't in the unknown threat folder anymore. You've been promoted. You're officially flock. That word flock sounds simple, right? But it really isn't. For a bird, your flock is the only place on Earth they can actually let their guard down. They preen each other. They sleep side by side. They'll call out to each other from across the house just to check in. When a bird decides you're part of their flock, they don't just tolerate you. They get anxious the second you walk out. They'll call your name. They watch the door. Sometimes they even bring you food regurgitating half-digested seeds into your hand. Which, honestly, in bird language, that's just about the highest compliment you can get. You can't force that. You can't buy it. It has to be earned. You earn it in the quiet moments. By sitting still. By showing them, day after day, that you're a safe place to land. And honestly, watching a bird that's been truly broken by fear finally reach that point, it's something else. It's extraordinary. But here's where it gets deeper. All that stuff we talk about, the body language, the calm energy, the routines, that's all stuff you can learn. It's conscious. So beneath that, there's a whole other layer that scientists are only just starting to wrap their heads around. Birds aren't just reacting to what you do. New research suggests they're reacting to who you are. They pick up on the rhythm of your voice, your scent, the specific way you move. They're building this internal portrait of you that sticks, even if you're gone for a long time. There are cases of parrots separated from their humans for months who, the second they see them again, have this immediate, visceral response. It's not just, oh, I know that face, it's relief. They remember. They carry you with them. Which makes you wonder about something nobody really asks. What is actually happening in a bird's head when they finally, truly trust you? Back in 2019, researchers studying oxytocin, the bonding hormone, found something that completely floored everyone in the field. When a parrot was grooming a bonded human and that human was scratching the bird's head in return, the bird's oxytocin levels just spiked. The same hormone, the exact same neurochemical signature that a mother feels for her child, or the same one that surges between two people who deeply trust each other. It's happening in a bird's brain, and it's triggered by you. This isn't some metaphor. It's not us projecting human feelings onto them. This is pure, cold biology. When a bird chooses you, something real happens in their brain. Something ancient. Something that was there long before we had words for love. It's just simple, safe, mind, home. Think back to that bird at the beginning, the one with the pounding heart, one foot lifted, ready to bolt. Now imagine them instead with their eyes half closed, feathers a bit fluffed, leaning slowly, almost tentatively against your hand. That shift, that's not taming. That is a wild creature deciding against every instinct in its body that you are worth the risk. So, here's what I'm curious about. Have you ever had a bird that just suddenly chose you? Or maybe you're still working on it with one that's a bit more hesitant? Tell me about it in the comments. I read all of them, and your story might be exactly what someone else here needs to hear.